Hi, this is by Thessalonians 2, chapter 1, verse 8 and 9. And we can single these verses out. I didn't include these with the Renovated Earth Summed Up video I did. You can look up Renovated Earth Summed Up. But I didn't use this verse because no one had really brought it to my attention as their sole verse that they used for God is going to torment us with physical fire forever, ever, and just have to give us an invincible body and torture it and everything. Well, I thought I had debunked all that with the Renovated Earth because I go over Second Peter, where it talks about fervent flame and so fervent fire is fervent can only be a strong feeling of intense devotiousness. And then we know fire is excitement. It can be used as a definition as excitement. And so I went over all those definitions. And then in Revelations 21, it specifically states what things will pass away. And it's like death and pain and dying and so sorrow. So it lists those things that will pass away, and so those two passages together are easy to debunk it. But this here in 2 Thessalonians 2, chapter 1, it says, 7 says that when the Lord shall be revealed from heaven with his mighty angels in flaming fire, taking vengeance on them that know not God and that obey not the gospel of our Lord Jesus Christ, who shall be punished with everlasting destruction from the presence of the Lord and from his glory and his power. Now, when I read this right now, without you knowing what Webster's dictionary says, see, I have the dictionary and I have all these spots marked. You have to know all these definitions whenever you look at this. Okay? Because if I said flaming fire, you're going to think, oh, that's the kind of fire that flames. So it's a physical flame. And if I say taking vengeance, you're going to think about killing and exacting injury and stuff. Out of the definition that we know, you're going to think injury. And if I say to be punished with everlasting destruction, you're thinking kill, which is the fourth definition, not the first, second, and third. All the first, second, and third definitions of destroy apply when tearing down and ruining, and the other one is... the destroy definition is tear down, demolish, ruin, do away with. Then the fourth definition is kill. But if I read this text, and by the time I get to everlasting destruction, you're going to think it's everlasting kill. Because I've said flaming fire, and you're thinking flame fire. But let's look the definition up of flame. And in the definition here, I've got it highlighted, where it says that is intense emotion or to become excited is another definition. So it does mean a gas and a tongue of light, a state of burning, but it also represents an intense emotion. And when you know that this other flame is fervent flame that the Bible speaks of and that it's only a feeling, this sort of adds to that there's going to be an emotional flame, and then the fire that it says right after flame fire is excitement. In the definition of fire is excitement. So you have to know that, and the other definitions here, I've gone over those. I have to say vengeance. You need to look up vengeance. And when you look up vengeance, this injury is what your mind is thinking. Oh, God's going to injure someone, right? Well, in the definition, the number 1 and the number 2 specified definition is the number 1 with great force or fury, and number two is excessively. So yes, we want God to excessively do away with these abominable things that are on earth that can't be in the presence of God. We want it to be done away with everlastingly. And so whenever this great force and then this word fury is used in the definition, so I have the definition of fury here, and in that brings up the word violent, anger, rage, and violence. So the word fury is the violence, and we need to look that word up. Okay, so see, you need all six of these definitions. Whenever you read these two verses, you need these definitions. So in the violence, we have acting on or having great physical force. Okay, caused by violence. So violence is this physical force. So now you have the definitions, and you can take this. I don't even need the dictionary now. Now I can read this, and I can assuredly tell you that when the Lord comes and revealed from heaven, okay, that means his glory of how pure and good he is. Not how destructive and how he wants to kill and injure. You have to take those two things out of the definitions. Kill is the fourth definition. So you have to dismiss three definitions before you get to it. So on down the line in these definitions, 4 times down the line is the word kill or injure. But that is not what you're taking. Now that I've read the definitions, when you can say inflaming fire, you know that is an emotional excitement, because an emotional in the flaming is emotions and excitement, and in the fire the word excitement can be used. And so in emotional exciting, taking vengeance, which is this word fury, which is the word violence, and it's this great force. So with a great force, not with violence as in injuring and killing, not that, but in a violence as in a great force to do away with. And so the everlasting destruction is the doing away with, the tearing down of demolishing, ruining the existing things that would be against what God is. These things are going to be totally demolished and totally ruined. And you see how we can totally give ourselves that this verse is true now, that we know the definitions of the words. And when I started this YouTube, I explained what your mind saw at these words: flaming, physical flame, violence, and injury and killing. But now that I've shown you the definitions, that's 4 times on down the line, and that it's talking about a physical force tearing down an existing rule and reign of evil. And we can be totally understanding those words needed to be used there. And it's not as if someone could have used another word. These words needed to be used there. The violent and the destroy word needed to be used, because 3 of the definitions explain what's going to happen. So you can't use another word than destroy. So I had to go over those definitions. Now that you know the definitions in Thessalonians and you have it here on my YouTube, you have the full Renovated Earth debunked, all the passages. Okay?